On July the 28th, there was a series of what was termed train thunderstorms that came through eastern Kentucky. That was just a series of thunderstorm after thunderstorm. And with the mountainous terrain of eastern Kentucky, it funneled all of that rain down into places that had historically never flooded. And you had literally over a 5-county area, thousands, tens of thousands of families that were instantly affected with devastating flash flooding. The amount of devastation is hard to imagine unless you're physically here.
My wife and I were asleep in bed. We had our cell phones on each side of the bed, and actually the alarm went off on both phones saying there might be severe flooding in Knott County. So we awoke to the water, and I went and told my wife, I said, we've got to get to your sister. And if you get them, the only place we had to go is that road right there that was over, the vines was already over it up that way. So I know that I need to get them up there because this is already blocked. My nephew and then we talked about probably less than 15 to 20 minutes later. He was shining a light and he looked back and he said, it's gone. My wife said, is it off the foundation? And no, he said, it's gone. So you know, you hate to lose everything you got. That's the only thing. I start thinking about it and I say, well, we made that alive. A lot of people didn't. So, you know, that's the only thing.
LKLP Community Action Agency is a community action agency incorporated in 1966 as a result of the War on Poverty in the Office of Economic Opportunity. Community Services Block Grant provides the wraparound services that are crucial, especially during natural disasters as we just experienced. The OCS flexibility was crucial for us to provide immediate assistance to families. Some of the services that we were able to provide immediately was emergency food, shelter, and clothing for individuals that were directly impacted by the flooding events. The Community Services Block Grant provides the basic infrastructure, providing lots of other federally funded programs. Again, with the OCS flexibility, we were able to use LIHEAP funds. LIHEAP is the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program to help families that incurred utility bills during the disaster to be able to pay for those bills in dwellings that they even no longer were able to live in, so that they then could get another dwelling and not have those past utility bills and not be able to get utility services at their new location. Community action agencies are in every community before a disaster occurs, responding during the disaster, and they're always there long after the disaster and after everyone else leaves the area to continue to provide services to the affected communities.
Okay, government is involved to the point that they run parallel to the long-term recovery group.
This event could happen to anyone, anywhere in this country. It's not isolated to any particular region or area. With the effects of global warming and the changes of our climate, we know that these events are occurring more often and going to occur more frequently in the future.
I've lived here for 51 years. I mean, it's devastated this whole community. Everybody in one way or another has been damaged by this flood. Everybody's trying to rebuild, and it's hard. But this community will get back on its feet, and this town will survive. It always has.